Hey Vincent, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm going to show you how I put your prescription lenses into your RayBan 2132 color 6053, which is the blue crystal that just came out this week. In order to get started, I'm going to pop out the demo lenses that come in the frame, and then I'm going to put your frame into my Santinelli edger and then trace the shape of your lenses. It's going to trace the left lens first and then go over and trace the right. Now here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, you buy the frame and you get, as you would imagine, free prescription lenses or non-prescription lenses. If you just want clear lenses to go in here, I can do it. I can do the transition, I can do anti-glare. In fact, Vincent, you upgraded to transition lenses, the house brand transitions. It is $39 more, making it a total of $169 for your new Wayfarer. So I'm going to pull up the shape of your lens onto the computer. I'm going to type in your pupillary distance. Oh, let's put the frame there so it doesn't run away. Pupillary distance of 68.5. Type that in. This is a polycarbonate lens being cut for a plastic frame. I'm going to cut it on the soft cycle. And now to speed things up, it is now, let's see, 4:31 on Saturday, February 8th. 47 degrees here in my hometown according to my Samsung Gear watch. I went ahead and took the liberty of putting the block onto the right lens so I could speed things up, because I want to show you how your transition lenses work. So I have your right lens already prepped. I'll show you what I'm going to do with your left lens. But for now, I put the right lens into my Santinelli edger. And it is going to come down and trace the shape of your frame onto the lens to make sure this lens is large enough to go into the frame. It is tracing the concave side of the lens. That's the side that is closest to your eyelashes. It will now trace the convex side, which is away from your face. The cutting wheel is this rough grit one on the left. It's almost like a heavy grit sandpaper, and that's going to grind away most of the shape. The wheel that's in the center with the little channel in the middle is what's actually going to put the bevel onto your lens, so it stays inside the frame. I will have to close the door while it's cutting, but we can look through the door so you can see the lens coming along, and I will open it back up once we're closer to its final shape. Let's see here, let's clean that up a bit. There we go. Now, I'm going to show you what I do to get your left lens prepped. Your prescription is -275, -75 at 35. So I spin the axis wheel to 35. I set the power wheel to -275. I put your lens in my Marco 101 lensometer. I rotate your lens to get the correct medium until the sphere power pulls up. And yes, you can see how dusty my lensometer is. I spin the cross curve to check the cross curve. I spin the power drum to get additional 75 steps, 0.75, which is 3/4 of a diopter of astigmatism correction. I put some dots on your lens. I'm going to darken that just so you can see it. And this is the left lens, so I will label it L. This is your optical center. That's going to go directly in front of your left pupil. This holds it in place while it is cutting. It is a block. It has a double-sided adhesive sticker. One side is already stuck to it. I'm going to remove the second side so it is sticky on this surface, and I line everything up into my blocker. I want that optical center dead center in the crosshairs of my scope. Pull that down, and now you are ready to go. That is what I did on the first pair. Now it's coming close to its final shape. If you notice, it's flat along the edges like a nickel. And now it's going to put the bevel on there, which is a knife-like edge. So it will stay inside the frame. Now your unbreakable polycarbonate lenses are actually bulletproof up to 22 caliber and have both UVA and UVB protection, as well as an incredible scratch coating to prevent scratches to your lenses. Now nothing on this green planet is scratch proof, not even diamonds, so you get a really good scratch protection on all of these unbreakable lenses that I send out. Now this is just essentially getting a bath. I'm going to close the door on my $30,000 Italian edger. They get a little temperamental when they get wet. So we're just going to have to watch through the door until it finishes. But it is putting the safety bevel onto the lens. After that, it's still a little bit rough, so I'm going to use my hand stone and smooth everything out so it is a perfect fit. Not too large, not too small, but just right. Because here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, everybody loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality, because you're only going to get quality lenses. So I'm going to take this out of the chuck, which is essentially a lathe on the cutting wheel. And yeah, there's still a little bit of rough edges, so I'm going to put it on my handstone, which is completely flat. It just works on friction. And if you notice, there's a little bit of white at the edges. I use my thumbnail to scrape that off. I don't know if you can see that on my thumbnail. Drop that on the counter. And one of the favorite things about my job, after I wipe that onto the counter, wipe it onto the floor. It's funny how that works, isn't it? Hey, I get to entertain myself while I'm cutting lenses. So, this is the final shape. I'm going to take your frame. In order to pop the lens in, I put it in the outside corner first. I tuck it in there, and then with my thumbs, I push down at the nose. It snaps in perfectly. Now let's cut your left lens. I'm going to set your frame down. I'm actually going to put it right there. And I'm going to flip it over to the left. And let's get cutting there. So this is what you saw before, just as we picked up. This whole process is going to take about 15 minutes. Hopefully it's fun for you watching how your glasses are made. Vincent found me on the internet, looked me up, watched all my other videos, knew you could get free high quality lenses from me, prescription lenses. I am a licensed optician here in North Carolina, and I ship all over the world. So it again is tracing the lens that is about to come down and start cutting. When it does, I'm going to inspect your right lens and make sure everything is cut perfectly before I ship to you. Polycarbonate cuts dry. There is water running in the background, but this cuts dry for now. Only at the end do you see the water coming up and splash. So I have to remove the block off of your lens. I have my tool to do that. Put it down, pull the lever, pulls that out, throw that in there. I'm going to pull off the last of that double-sided sticker that I used to hold the block on there. And dry your lens off just a little bit. And you can see that red dot that's on there. That is the optical center of your right eye. I'm going to measure in a little bit, and if everything's perfect, we're going to get a 68.5, which is your pupillary distance. So now I'm going to spin the axis wheel to 135 just to check the power of the right eye. Back to 135. Put this in, and your powers are minus 250, minus 75. Spin the wheel. I have got minus 2.5, that's halfway between 2 and 3, so that gives me minus 250. Spin the power drum till I get your astigmatism correction at 75 more, so minus 250, minus 275, 3 1/4, and that's where we're at if this zooms in. So we're looking good there. I know that the axis on your left eye is 35. I'm going to go ahead and spin the axis wheel, so I'm ready to inspect your left lens as soon as it's done. Now with your eye, this first box, that's actually the power correction. In your right eye you need minus 250, which is 2.5 diopters. The left eye you need minus 275. If this were a ladder, well, everything's in quarter increments, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1. Your right eye, you actually need, if this were a ladder, you're on the 10th rung, you need 10 steps of correction for your right eye. You need 11 steps for your left. This, without your glasses on, everything is way too large. So this will actually minify what you are seeing. The second box, which is your astigmatism correction, takes away the fuzzy edges. So the first box gets everything the right power. The second box makes everything nice and clear and crisp. With astigmatism problems, 6s and 8s look alike, P's and F's. Of course, driving at night's a lot more difficult, and you're more light sensitive. Of course, that's why you paid an extra $39 to get the transition lenses, the photochromic, I should say, the house brand. The Transitions brand lenses are $59 more, but you got the house brand, which is just as good. They're not as clear indoors as the Transitions brand, but since you're light sensitive, you were telling me that just a little bit of gray inside will help ease with overhead lights. But the last button, is where we fine-tune that knob to take away your astigmatism correction. And of course, you only have 3 steps in each eye. Everything's in quarter increments again. So the left lens is done. I'm going to pop this out. I'm going to go to the handstone, put a safety bevel on there, take up all the rough edges. use my thumbnail to scrape around the edge of your lens to get all the optical sawdust off. I guess maybe you can see that on my hands now. Of course, since you see me drop it on the floor, all right, one time I'll drop it in the trash can, just for people at home keeping score. So I dry your lens off just so it's not slippery and I don't drop it on live TV. And now I'm going to test to make sure it fits in the left side. I tuck it in at the outside corner, and with my thumbs I push down at the nose. When you hear the snap, you are done. I'm going to pop the block off, pull the sticker, dry this a little bit, and of course let me pull this up, this background, and your pupillary distance is 68.5. Spin this over so you can see both red dots. This is my PD stick, pupillary distance. I'm going to put the 0 with my left thumb, and with the right you should see 68.5, just a millimeter and a half before the 70. So that checks out perfect. Flip this over so I can see your prescription. The axis wheel is at 35. I'm going to double check that everything is oriented properly. We have minus 275, minus 750. Minus 0.75 gives me a total of 350. I'm going to clean the red dots off, and then there's one more step I'm going to do before I ship to you. I want to make sure that the frame is in standard alignment. And of course, by the way, you are going to receive a RayBan case, a RayBan cleaning cloth, and I even give you instructions on how to care for the case and the cleaning cloth so it'll last you for years. And I'm also going to send a photo request for you to take a selfie and send it to me so I can put your picture on the website. Here at my day job, I have pictures of thousands of people who have picked up glasses from me, and I have them on digital picture frames. And it's actually fun for patients to come and see while I'm doing a repair of a nose pad or tightening a screw. They like to look at all the pictures out there. So again, I'm going to set this on the counter, and I'm going to put it in a 3-point stance, with each temple being one and 2 points. The third point is the bottom of the frame. I set it on the table. It's sitting level. I flip it over to do the same thing. Press down on both temples. There is no wobble. Close the hinges. They are lined up. And then I get this thing ready for shipping. Oh, wait. Because these are transition lenses, I just wanted to show you. Here's what they look like clear. Of course, you can see some of the really cool effects if you look through your lenses. At my print in the background, you can see how it actually minifies. As I go across that, it should become smaller. Smaller and smaller. Now that you can see how virtually clear that is. I'm going to activate this in my ultraviolet box to show you what your lenses look like when they darken. Now, all transition lenses will darken on day 1. Giving them 2 weeks, they're going to continue to darken every day for the first couple weeks until they get to their final setting. They are temperature sensitive, meaning they'll work better in cooler weather than in the high 90s. Once it gets into the upper 90s, you're miserable, your lenses are miserable, pretty much everyone is miserable and doesn't want to work, including your lenses. So now they will turn dark in direct exposure to the sun. The only time they will not darken is when you're behind the windshield in a traditional car. Your windshield absorbs all the sun's ultraviolet rays so your upholstery doesn't rot or your dashboard doesn't crack from sitting in the sun. Depending on the age of your car, they will darken just a little bit inside, but not as much as when you actually step outside of your car. Now again, they will get dark on day 1. Give them 2 weeks. They're going to keep getting darker and darker every day for the first 2 weeks until they reach their final setting, provided that they are exposed to the sun. And now I take them out of there and you can see how dark they are. And again, 2 weeks from now, they're going to keep getting darker and darker. So Vincent, I really appreciate you getting the RayBan 2132 color 6053, which is the blue crystal. I am actually wearing the tortoise beige today. It is the same frame. I could pop my lenses out of my frame and pop into yours and vice versa. I'm wearing the tortoise beige because I've got my browns and my linens on today, so that's why I'm matching. Put mine back on. But Vincent, thank you once again, and I hope you've been able to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.